with
You'll
it.
just deal with it? Is that what you'll do?
Yep.
Okay,
hmm
cool. So are you ready
I'm good
then?
at dealing. Nope. Let's go.
You sure?
Yeah, of course I'm ready.
Okay, we've been going for a minute now.
Okay, I thought so. I was like, man, this is a long bit before the show. Are we already going?
Yes, welcome everybody. It's Don't Worry Wednesday. We're back.
Back.
We made it again.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry we missed last week.
Yes. Very, very
I was
sorry.
I was several thousand feet in the air, and what were you up to, Joe?
I was working
Mm.
like crazy, like a crazy person,
hmm Okay. Well, don't do that again.
because we're behind schedule. But I think we're always behind schedule, and we may
That's
always
right.
be behind schedule because that's kind of just like when you're an entrepreneur, you're kind of like always behind schedule.
That's right, because you always want to be further ahead than you are.
Yes, absolutely true.
Yes.
It's so true.
I think we need to
Like
learn to be content with just wherever
every
we are.
business I've ever started, I've started a bunch, and like there's always this sense of urgency and behindness, right? So you just kind of learn to live with it and just work. And in fact, I had a conversation today with my coach, and she was going through. We're going through like scheduling now that all this craziness is happening, and we've got just stuff. We got podcasts that we want to roll out. We got recordings that need to be done. We've got, and then in the middle of all this, we started a cabinet shop, and we did all this kind of stuff. And so she's like, "Okay, we need to figure out your life." And I'm like, "Okay."
Oh, wow, what a statement. But I guess as your past, what do you call it, therapist?
Yes.
There we go. Yeah, that's probably a more normal line.
Yep. So we went
But
through all
it's not.
this scheduling stuff today, and a
Yeah.
comment came up where I was just like, it's crazy when because she had a grandpa who owned a restaurant in New York City, and so she remembers. I'm
Mm.
like, you remember him and his work schedule? Wasn't it just like crazy? She's like, oh yeah, he worked all the time, and it's like, yeah, well, when you own a business, that's what you do. You kind of just default mode work, right? You just start working and go, right?
hmm
It's just kind of how it works. But anyway, so yeah. So I felt bad, but I was like stuck in the shop and I was like dirty as all get out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like there's no way I'm getting back in time to try and coordinate a Don't Worry Wednesday without Ryan right now.
Yeah.
so,
Fair.
so I was just like, I'm sorry, I canceled it. But we're here now.
We
And
did
for the
it.
foreseeable future, we're going to be here.
Yes.
You,
Yeah, I was wondering. I was not that maybe now's not the time to do it, but I was wondering. I mean, everyone should be interested in this. Are there any updates on the podcast that you and Katie were doing?
yeah,
Kate?
we're
Kate or
we're
Katie?
we're putting together a recording schedule so we can actually get a bunch of episodes recorded.
Cool.
And we did put out one. We're gonna re-release it. We're gonna edit it and re-release it.
Oh, okay, because I was like, I wanted to listen to that, and then it went down, and I was like, darn
Oh, it
it.
got taken down.
Yeah, it was taken down.
Of course,
Well,
it got
okay,
taken
actually, I don't
down.
know. That was when I checked a while ago, but yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, so we're re-releasing that one, and then we're going to then also get on a more firm schedule. Hopefully by October.
Cool.
But yeah. Hey everybody, Saule, you're late because you got ice cream. I like ice cream.
Hardly an excuse.
That's the best excuse.
Jeez.
That's a great
I know, actually, it's a
excuse.
really good
And
excuse.
and and
Um,
Rising Dawn
I
Studios.
think
I
I've
think
had that.
Rising Dawn. Are you Ellie? Is that correct?
I think that's right. I also had the same excuse before. I've been late because of ice cream. I had a meeting. It was a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, "Sorry, guys, I'm late." I didn't tell them why, but it was because I got ice cream.
Oh.
Yep. So at least we're in the same boat, so
That's all right. That's all right. I'm sorry you're sick, Darkwing. But yeah, hey, we give you something to do. That's cool. And Mianglios, it's great to see you again. Um, Yeah.
Fully agree with that,
We
Sully.
and we I'm glad you're here because we have some topics from you actually. And
Mm.
it'd be good to do one of them. Your topics do say that you want to be here for them. And and then school and getting started with college and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I understand everything's
Hmm.
busy, man. I understand.
Oh
It's
yeah.
crazy. It's a
Thank you for
busy
making
busy
time for
time of
us.
year. Yeah, absolutely. It's just great to have you guys here. Um, yeah, enjoying ice cream. You know something very interesting about ice cream? It is the medication for roller coaster sickness.
Oh right. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if I've
I
mentioned
remember
that
that.
before. That's a public service announcement. If you go on roller coasters and you go on them enough that you start to get that feeling where you're just like, oh my gosh, like I've handled all these G forces and these inversions and this, these drops from way up high and all this kind of stuff and this speed and crazy and like it just kind of discombobulates you if you do a bunch of it like all together, right? And so like you
Hmm.
get this really queasy feeling, this weird sick to your stomach feeling, and you're kind of out of it. Ice cream fixes the whole thing, and then you can just go back and ride more rides.
That's kind of
That's
interesting because like ice cream is so full of sugar. If you could taste the sugar because it wasn't so cold,
mm-hmm.
it would make you want to have everything come out of you. But apparently because it's so cold and you can't taste all the sugar, you're cooling your insides down probably, and that's why you're like,
That
you
might
know
be
what?
part of it. Yeah.
Everything's calm down here now. It's like anti-inflammatory. Use ice cream in
Yeah.
anti-inflammatory. I've never heard that before, but that's true.
Hey, that's all right. Yep.
What's inflammatory? Ice cream, at least temporarily.
Sugar is inflammatory. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but
And then you
yeah, I
get the
know, right?
cold
It's
with the
anti-inflammatory
anti-inflammatory.
only when
So
it's cold, right?
so cold frozen sugar like it cancels itself out maybe?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't think so. In the long run, I bet it's inflammatory because by the time once your stomach does warm it up, then that's when it enters your body and inflames you. So,
Yeah. I have gotten, last time I went riding at a theme park, and actually I'm going in a couple weeks again. My son wanted for his birthday to go back to Cedar Point, and so we're going to go back there. It's going to be great. But he's allergic to tree nuts, and so we have to be really
yeah.
careful about ice cream because there's all kinds of ice cream made with all kinds of almonds and
Oh
walnuts and all
yeah.
kinds of stuff, right? And all of those ice creams are made in the same facility, and so there might be traces of stuff, and so you have to be really really careful about what kind of ice cream he gets and everything. So we found a fail safe, and that is Dippin' Dots.
And
You ever had
dots,
Dippin' Dots?
yes. I love Dippin' Dots.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh,
They're
yep. You're
one of
right.
my
Yeah, I'm
favorite
blue.
ice creams.
Yep, and
Hmm.
they use the same scooper for the ice cream flavors. Yep, absolutely.
Oh yeah,
That
that's
can be an
true.
issue. And
That's
so like we
true.
always have to anytime we went to an ice cream store, like when he was younger and even on up till now, we like I have to talk to the person and I have to be like, okay, I have a son, he's severely allergic to tree nuts. And we went to this place up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan in the middle of nowhere. And it was this ice cream shop. And I was telling him this, and he's like, "Oh yeah, no problem. Just over on that window, there's the list." And so he had posted up there all of the allergen information for all of his different flavors of ice cream posted,
Wow.
on this little thing that you could flip through on his window and everything. And so he was very very good about everything. So like my son ended up getting this like bucket full of ice cream.
Ah, that's great.
It was so cool.
Yeah, because it's hard for him. Yeah, that makes sense. You say, Rising Dawn, you said, you feel like you can taste all the sugar, but eat it anyways. I, I soft dare you. You don't have to do this, but I little bit dare you to like eat ice cream when it's warm, like out of like when it's soup, and just like drink it, like whatever, right? And then tell me, then tell me if you can taste how sweet it really is.
How sweet it is. to
Yeah.
drink
Oh,
my
you've
ice
done that.
cream.
You've drinking warm ice cream. Like you microwave it till it's warm and then you like drink that.
Yeah, man,
You've drink
microwaved ice
okay, if you've
cream.
done that
You
then
know,
that's okay.
you know what would probably be good? Microwave your ice cream, make it into ice cream soup, right?
Hmm.
And then put that in coffee. It's like putting cream and sugar in
Of
your
course,
coffee,
that would be good. That'd be good.
right?
Yeah, it's cream and sugar. Yeah.
It's good with
Yeah.
coffee. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Bro, yeah. I was there's this coffee ice cream that's really good. Basically, you just take instant coffee, you put it on your ice cream, and it's amazing. So,
Oh yeah. That'd be
yeah, it tastes
good.
great.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you used it when you had sensitive teeth. Yeah, that makes sense. You had to
Ah,
wait for it to be warm.
yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I still have sensitive. Everything in my being is sensitive to cold. So,
Mm-hmm.
my teeth and my gums and my tongue, everything.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, Ellie, we got this mental connection here. I think we got we
yeah,
got
that's
we got
awesome.
this wavelength thing going on. This is good.
Yeah.
Um Wait, August, you're gonna start a business of warm ice cream.
I love it.
Hey, there could be a market for that. You know what? In the wintertime.
Hot ice cream. Get
Hot
your
ice
hot. Wait,
cream.
isn't hot ice like literally the name for what's that called? Nitric nit what is that? What's that stuff? What's
What?
that stuff called?
Nitrous oxide? And you
Is that what it is? You get in a giant cube and it's constantly smokes.
oh, dry ice.
Dry ice, thank you.
Yeah.
Hot ice isn't oh no, hot ice is not dry ice. Hot ice is it's something. There is something called hot ice. Let me go find it.
Cats,
Hot ice.
welcome. Glad you were drinking
Hey, cats.
responsibly. Responsibly is the best way to drink
Oh
your
yeah, for
your
sure.
Coca-Cola.
It's not coming up with anything.
I have been
Oh well.
irresponsibly drinking coffee for the past month.
Hey, sometimes you just have to.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I've yes, drink responsibly. I've never been drunk, but I have been tipsy.
Hmm.
And I don't understand. Um, my wife and I, we drink from time to time, and it's like, okay, when you start to feel weird, that is not a good feeling. So we're like, why do people continue? Like at that point, we're just like, I think I'm done. I think that feels wrong enough.
I guess it depends, you know. There are people,
Hmm.
I mean, I definitely went through a phase of trying just
Yeah, some
about
people say they like that feeling.
any type of thing that would give me any kind of a buzz. I tried it almost,
Hmm.
and it was funny because I've told my kids this and I'm like, look, you're not going to really get anything past me as you get older. And, like if you experiment with any of these things, you can just ask me because I've tried most of them.
Fair enough.
And
Right.
if you're under the influence of something, I'm going to be able to tell.
That's pretty good.
I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to like be all mean and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff. But
you're not there to hurt people or
right.
damage their esteem or anything.
But I'm going to
You
be
recognize.
concerned and I'm going to be like, okay, I can tell that you've been using this.
Hmm.
So let's talk about it. Right. And
That's good.
because really you do better not under the influence.
Well, of course. Yeah, if you can choose less control over your mental faculties or more, in generally almost any regard, you're like, well, why would I choose less? I feel like I always need more. I feel like I'm not
Mm-hmm.
like, I do stupid stuff, and I don't have full control of my mind and I think stupid thoughts. So why would I want even less control? But at
It's
the same
true.
time, I understand sometimes we do. Sometimes people are like, that's why people drink. They're like, I wish I would stop thinking,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
so that's why they drink. So
Yep.
I guess
That's true.
But it's like you can't solve your problems unless you think through them. So that's for me. I'd rather solve the problem than I guess put it on the back burner.
Yeah.
If it's something that's really irritating me enough that I'd want to drink or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Just my experience though. I mean, obviously other people have been in different environments and so they are where they are.
Mm-hmm. Well, the key to all of these things is one word: moderation.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And
Moderation's good.
if you can't do that, then probably don't do it at all.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
If
Rising Dawn, yep. You said it because it numbs the narrator in your mind and then it distracts from other darker emotions. Yeah,
yes. Yep, it's very true.
it's fair.
Yep. But here, I'll tell you one thing for sure. And when I started therapy back when I was getting started with my divorce and all that kind of stuff, and I got into therapy and everything, my therapist told me, she was like, "Okay, alcohol is just off limits for you right now because it's a depressant, right?" And so it's
Yeah.
like
Right.
when you're struggling with depression, like that's like the absolute worst thing. Even in moderation, it's
That
still a
makes sense.
depressant. And so even just a little bit will still, tip you towards more depression. So yes, she was like, for right now, off limits. Just don't. If you wanna get
Mhm.
better, right? Just don't. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, fair. Oh,
Yep.
yeah, that's good.
You didn't keep track of how much alcohol you had. I understand. I've done that before.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. I guess
Do
for
we
me, I
drink
drink
water?
everything so. No, we hate water. Water is the bane of all humanity. Like, if it wasn't for water, we would be happy. I'm kidding. Yes, I drink water almost daily. Almost. Maybe sometimes it's once every 3 days, but I do get around to drinking it.
Hmm.
It's good. I try to drink it every day.
That's
I don't understand the
probably
doctor
important.
recommendation of drink this much on is impossible. Is
No,
impossible.
it's
I
not.
don't understand it.
It's not impossible.
For
8 glasses of water
have
a
you
day.
8 glasses of water? Are you insane? What are you trying to
It's
do?
only 64
Kill
ounces.
yourself?
It's a
Oh,
it's a
that's
half a
insane.
gallon.
It's That's insane. I'm like someone drinking a
Not
whole
at
half a
once.
gallon.
That's for your
It's
whole
impossible.
day.
I can't even do
That's for
that.
your whole
Not
day.
I know, right? That's insane. I know one person that might do that. Do you do that, Joe?
Of course, what? Drink. Yeah,
Yeah, drink that
I
much
drink
water in
that
a day.
much water a day.
You drink eight glasses of water in a day.
Sure. Yeah, I have
That's
this thing.
insane.
I have this thing.
Okay, and how many glasses of water is that?
How many ounces? This is a 40-ounce bottle.
So you need to drink 2 of those.
And
Well, two, one and a half.
I drink usually close to 3 of these per day. So I drink about 120 ounces of water a day.
How? That's
'Cause I'm
insanity.
thirsty.
Yeah, okay. Well, in my lifetime, I don't think I've ever drank 8 glasses in one day. The most I've probably ever drank in one day is maybe 5 at the most. And most days it's 0, I would say. It's between 0 and 1 a day. And then every once in a while I'll be like, wow, I'm thirsty. I really need a drink. And then I'll drink like 2, 2 glasses that day.
Mm-hmm.
But like, um,
Well, see, here's the thing.
mm-mm.
You don't eat as much either, right? And
No,
a
I
lot of
don't.
times, the
I
more
don't eat
you
as much, and I
eat,
don't work as.
especially if you eat more, and if like
Mhm.
especially, dude, if you consume salt,
I
it
do
makes you
consume salt.
it generally makes you thirstier, but makes you
That's
also
true. It
retain
does.
water, which is weird. So you retain
That makes
water,
sense.
but it also makes you
That makes
thirsty.
sense. Yeah, because water gets soaked up into the salt, so that means then it would slowly it would hold salt would hold the water from you and I don't know, and create barriers and stuff.
Mhm.
That's weird,
Yeah.
but it makes sense.
Yeah. It's there. So yeah, anytime.
Oh, right.
What?
That's true. I don't sweat really.
Oh.
So that's probably also partially why. Because like I'll get hot, but the most I'll ever do is like glisten. I
Mm,
never in my
you
life have I ever had like a full bead form.
you glisten well.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I glisten like a pig.
Mm. So go roll around in the mud.
Yeah, so I grow like literally if I'm overheating, I sincerely this is kind of silly, but if I actually am overheating, I have to take like a wet rag and pull, like wipe my whole body down
Mm.
because I can't because my body doesn't sweat.
Mm.
So it's not very helpful when I have a really high fever. Because the intention of a fever is to sweat out the virus or the bacteria or whatever. But like I just don't sweat, so my fever just keeps going higher, 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 waiting for my body to. So that's why multiple times
Uh,
I've had a fever over 104, which is 40 Celsius, which is the point where they're like your brain cells are melting, and so at that point I have to actually put water on my skin and let it evaporate it out
mm.
off.
Hmm.
Yeah, dangerous.
That's good. Hey, Snowlock, it's good to see you.
Ah,
Hello.
Rising Dawn, you can't do it either. That's yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what's so
This is
funny?
answering so many
Here's
questions.
the thing. They say 8 ounces of
So much.
eight glasses of water per day, right? And
Mm-hmm.
but then, like, seriously, that's just science talking, and
Yeah,
they
and I don't
change
know
the
anything.
deal all the time.
Yeah, we were just talking about that
It's
before the show.
so crazy. Like science, like everybody's like, "Oh, I trust in science." I don't trust science. Like, dude, they change
Here's the
the
thing.
stinking deal all the
You
time.
can't trust science because what you're doing when you're trusting science is you're trusting humans who have told you information.
Right.
And we don't know because we find out new information all the time.
That's right.
So,
We
yeah,
make scientific advancements, right? And so
that's
we
right.
just had this thing. Like I got burnt at work, right? I burned a hole in my thumb. There's a hole in my thumb, burn hole,
Mm-hmm.
and like so that it happened, and I was like, yeah. Then I went and ran under cold water, and Ryan was like, don't do that.
Yeah,
It's not,
don't
and
do
I'm like,
that.
that's what they always told me to do. That's what they told me, all growing up. Like, and this was science,
Mm-hmm. Right,
you
right.
know, run it under cold water for like a minute or whatever,
Mm.
right? And
Yeah, exactly. You can slough right off your skin. Yeah, you can slough your skin off and
thermal
then
shock in my skin, man.
thermal shock. Yeah,
But
exactly.
that's what science told us to do. Before
Mm-hmm.
that, you were supposed to put butter on it.
Oh, huh.
Mm-hmm.
What is that gonna do? I'm trying to
Because
calculate that
butter's
out. What?
probably because the butter was cold,
Yeah,
and
maybe. I
it was
can
like a cold.
see it doing something.
It didn't like it wouldn't all melt at once, and so it would maybe stay colder longer or whatever, right? Maybe that was the thought. I don't
Yeah. Huh. Interesting one.
know.
I
Putting
mean,
butter on
maybe
will make
it's
it
to
spread.
regulate the temperature. Yeah.
The
Yeah,
butter will
that's
make
where
you
definitely
nice
where
and
it came
toasty.
from. It definitely came from because who's gonna burn themselves the most? People in the kitchen. So they're like, okay, if you get a burn, use it to at least make use out of it. Your finger's now hot. Warm up some butter.
Yeah. I mean, you might as well, right? Like, oh,
That's it.
it's
That's it.
funny. That's funny. Which is why
Hmm.
it's so hilarious, right? Because it was like, well, the doctor says this, and I'm like, the doctor's gonna say something else 10 years from now.
10 years from now, the doctor will be like, I can't believe we ever said that. What?
They won't ever say we were wrong, though. Those words will never
That's
come out of their mouths.
ooh. The science was wrong. That's all. That's all it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let me burn my finger to warm that butter up. Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
All
Wow.
right.
That's
Hey,
that
you get
butter you up. Let's do a topic, yeah?
Let's do that. You guys are awesome. I love hanging out with you
Yeah,
guys. Butter is food lotion. Yeah, and coconut
that's
oil
right.
is too. Coconut oil is pretty good.
That's right.
As long as you put
Yeah,
salt on it.
I'm apparently a little bit allergic to coconut oil, found out, but
Oh.
I do like it. It's nice.
Uh-huh. It's kind of like
What's it?
if you just eat coconut oil, it's kind of like eating lotion.
Yeah, it's weird. Like if you can take a chunk of coconut oil and you put it in your mouth and it like turns into this. It's weird.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Um, Sully, what's triple antibiotic?
Oh,
Is that a
like
brand?
Neosporin.
Oh, okay. Neosporin.
Neosporin is a triple antibiotic.
Peroxide
Peroxide is not.
is not. So what defines a triple antibiotic?
I don't know. Read the ingredients of Neosporin. There are 3 different antibiotics in it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. That solved it. That solved it.
Yes, to kill the germs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So all right. So we have some topics here. Let's see. Do we have any new ones? I didn't even check. Looks like we do have some new ones. Got some anonymouses. Anonymize. We got one from Saule. These have not been processed. We do have some from Mianglios. Are you still here, Mianglios? Because we would love to do one of your topics. We've kind of been sitting on them, waiting for you to come back. Yeah, all right, cool. So let's see. So we've got 3 from you. We've got so I'm gonna give you a choice. You can choose which of these we want to do right now. We have how to adult. We have tips for driving instructors, and we have resisting negative influence.
Mm.
Do you have a preference on if any of the other topics are urgent, do those first? I
By the way, we have
see.
1, 2, 3, 4 topics in the queue. So there's
Are
a
any of
lot
those
to
urgent?
process. We're behind.
Yeah, apparently we're
Well,
behind.
are any of them urgent? Let me look. Yes, one of them is urgent.
Okay.
Um, it was on August 27th. It's the topic title for this one is 421.
Okay. Well, do we want to quick process that one and do that one first? Since it's
Yeah,
urgent?
I can quick process
Okay.
if
At
you want.
Mianglios's request.
Yeah. I love whoever wrote this. You started us out with asking the basically the little thing that we're going to be putting in the box. That's how you started this off, and that's really nice.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice.
And also the way you write is very good because you use your punctuation, and that means I can just look completely over anything you've written and just look for the punctuation.
That's great. Yes. Oh, while you're doing that, Ryan, I will do the intro because we never did the intro.
Oh my gosh. How far behind are we on this show? That's amazing.
Oh,
for it,
man.
buddy.
All right, cool. So welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday. It's a show that's about you guys and your topics. If you have a topic you want us to do, go to don'tworrywednesday.com. Saule just put it in the chat there. There's a link. You can click it. It'll take you to the website, don'tworrywednesday.com. And then you can click the submit a topic button there and fill out that form, and we'd be happy to discuss whatever it is that you put in there. We are not professionals. The information we give is not a substitute for professional advice. We're just trying to give back and support you as you're supporting us. That is how Saule worded it. He's absolutely right. We are not professional therapists or counselors or anything like that. And we're not attorneys. We're not policemen. We're not, we can't give you legal advice. We can't give you medical advice. We can tell you we don't trust science, but but we can't tell you not to trust science.
Science is useful. Just we don't. That's important to know.
Anything we say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
That's always true. That's always true. That never stops being true. That's why. It's processed, by the way.
Oh, it is. Good. All right, cool. Oh, you copy pasted that from a description. Hey, cool. All right. Yeah. Yep. So now you have 3 posts in the chat with the link. So you can pick one of those.
Oh.
You are free to choose whichever one of those links you want to click. And you can go there. But yeah, we're not professionals. We just want to be your friend. We want to love you. We want to help you understand it's going to be okay. You've solved many of these problems. You're probably smart enough to solve them on your own. But it sometimes helps when you're in the thick of things to have an outside perspective, somebody from outside the situation looking in that can kind of see the picture for what it is, and maybe ask some of the questions that maybe we forget to ask ourselves. So I know that a lot of times when I'm in the middle of something, I get focused on a detail. I get focused on like one little thing, and then I'm stuck on it. And
that's so true. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I forget about all this other part of the situation, and the answer is like right there if I were to just look at this other thing, but I'm too busy focused over here. Right? So that happens. Cool. So, all right. I'm glad none of your topics have any time constraints, Meanglios. That's awesome. And Baka just moved into your apartment. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Looking for sound paneling.
I don't know. Sound paneling. I can tell you that a lot of the stuff I've gotten came from a place called the Foam Factory. You can just look up the Foam Factory. They're pretty reasonably priced, and you don't have to necessarily break the bank on that stuff, and you don't have to line your walls either with it. You can just like maybe buy some squares, put them up around, kind of like space them out around, and then that can do a lot. But then, yeah, look up. You can look up some stuff on how to do that. Sounds to me like it is a very well-built room with good 90-degree angles if it's echoey.
Mm-hmm.
Because
that's right. They did a good job.
They did a good job doing that. Yep. So, because that's primarily the cause of the echoes is when you have parallel surfaces. The floor and the ceiling are parallel, and then the walls around are parallel.
I'm sure you can tell I have an echo in the room I'm in because we have really high ceilings, and I have to solve that issue eventually.
Well, I can't tell right now.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, cool. All right, so this one is processed, you said?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we'll jump into this one. I haven't even seen what it is yet. Just reloaded the tab. Oh, stress overwhelming. All right. All right, and who's this from? Is this this is anonymous?
It's submitted by, and that's all it says. So,
okay.
Must be anonymous.
All right.
Or they forgot to put their name in.
I will go ahead and I will put this up on the screen, and then you guys can read it along. You guys can read along while I read it aloud as soon as I get everything together and get it figured out, then I will put it up on the screen here.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Carpet is a decent multi-purpose sound absorber. You are absolutely right, Saule. In fact, I remember one time in the live room for a music studio that I was helping put together years ago, we glued carpet to the walls.
Oh, right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, and everything was carpeted in there, like all the walls, because they just wanted to absorb the sound. I don't necessarily recommend using carpet as wallpaper. It takes some pretty hefty glue, and if the room is enclosed, as it was there, you end up with one of those buzzes we were talking about earlier. That's how that is. So, oh, you think this subject is yours, Ellie? Okay, that's okay. Well,
Great.
I'm
Well, now
glad
we know what
to
direction.
I'm glad to know it's yours. So, all right, I'm gonna put this topic up on the screen, and then you can let us know if it's yours or not if you want to. Yeah, you can read along while I read it aloud. So here it is. It's called Stress Overwhelming, and it goes like this: How do I deal with overwhelming stress? It's hard to function like a normal human when I'm unable to eat or drink due to stress-induced nausea, sleep at night because of racing thoughts, or get up in the morning due to a lack of inspiration. I might have to take steps against my work because of legal matters, issues with me trying to take on the happiness of my family because it's basically the only role I've known and it's an automatic habit at this point, and then the stress of me wanting to accomplish my dreams. I feel like there's too much on my plate and I can't take anything off. I don't know how to deal with this and I feel really depressed due to it.
Yeah,
From
overwhelmingness can do that.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, yep, that is yours. All right. So this is
Thank
from
you, Ellie.
Ellie. Thank you very much. And yeah, oh my gosh. I definitely can relate with the feeling. How you doing, J-Ho? It's good to see you. But yeah, to be overwhelmed, to be completely stressed out, to have all kinds of things going on, whether it's professionally, personally, educationally, all kinds of stuff. Sometimes they all come together and they just pile on you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can't hardly make heads or tails out of the situation. And I'll tell you, sometimes, I mean, I don't know. You could look into finding a counselor that might be able to help sort through some of this with you. I don't know specifics on your situation or whatever. I'd be happy to talk to you. I'm just like super busy, and so I don't know if I'd be a very good help. And like you feel free to message me on Discord. I'd be happy to try and help. But I've had to do a lot with time management. Because I generally have so much on my plate. Now, a lot of that has to do with tasks, but then a lot of those things were nuanced too, because there's relationships in peril. There are all kinds of things just going on, and when you have so many different things, and you're almost afraid to make a decision, because if you make a decision that's going to cause a bigger problem in an area, then you really are hesitant to do that, and it causes a lot more stress, causes all kinds of craziness. So, man, I totally can understand where you're coming from. Yeah, Soleil says, Joe may be able to speak on this better than me, but I think exercise tends to help the mind. Yep, absolutely. People think about it helping the body, but I find it helps the mind through stress too. Absolutely. It's okay to feel emotions. It's okay to feel angry. Wow, Ryan just got yellow. It's okay to be yellow.
We're back.
It's
okay to be blue.
Yep. But here's the thing: if you do go find a counselor, make sure you don't just find one that's letting you just have venting sessions, and then not offering tools, not trying to give you tools that can help you sort through things. Because what happens a lot of times, if all we do is vent, what that can do is actually increase the amount of anxiety that we experience.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Because, and so that's where you have to kind of be careful. You might have to end up shopping around for a counselor, or professional, or whatever, because if all they're doing is having you vent and then listening to you vent, all that's doing is basically raising your anxiety levels for that point in time. But if they're able to offer you some tools, maybe some articles to read, maybe some resources to where you can start to learn about some stuff and try and sort through some of this stuff, that's somebody who's really good to talk to. Yes, but exercise is really good for the mind, especially cardio actually is really good for the mind. They used to say it's good for the, here's another thing where science was wrong, and they changed their tune, right? They used to say, oh, cardio, if you want to lose weight, you got to do lots of cardio. Wrong. No. That's not, like, people would spend hours on the treadmill and then never lose weight, like all this kind of stuff. Like, cardio is not the ticket to losing weight. And then they were like, oh, well, but it's good for your heart and lungs. And I actually talked to a heart surgeon who told me that's not even the case. Said doing cardio is good for your mind. And that's where it sets in the best thing. So it doesn't have to be strenuous cardio. You don't have to go crazy. But if you walk and maybe jog, maybe walk briskly, maybe do something physical like that. Even stretching. You can find like beginners yoga videos on YouTube or something, and do some of that. A lot of that stuff can kind of help smooth out a lot of that stuff. And what happens is you can take your mind off of all those things that are going on and focus on what you're doing, whether it's stretching, yoga, walking, whatever, all these kinds of things. And then when you come back, you feel a little bit less stressed about it, and you tend to see things a little bit more clearly because you've stepped away from it for a moment or an hour or whatever, right? But here's the thing I have learned. If I take a step away from my problems for a little bit, they're still there when I come back. So they're still there for me to deal with. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But so it's not like you can't just go away and think they'll just go away on their own. They won't. But if you take a step away for a little reprieve, it can help to come back, and you may see something you didn't see before because you might have been stuck in a moment of hopelessness or a moment of just feeling helpless, right? So yeah, that's definitely good advice, Saule. Oh wow, you've gone through 3 counselors in the past 6 years. Unfortunately, that's fairly common. I also had the joy, I got to talk, my son and I went to a trampoline park, and one of his friends from school was there, and I ended up talking to his dad, who also is a psychologist. And he said, yeah, unfortunately, there's just a lot of bad psychologists out there. And I'm like, ugh. And I was telling him some of the advice I got from my former therapist. He's like, you got lucky because you got a good one. She told you this,
Mm-hmm.
she told you that. A couple of things, right? One was the thing about avoiding alcohol. If you're facing any kind of depression, alcohol is off limits. He's like, that's very good advice. Another thing she said was, I'm not here to have you as a client. I'm here to get you off of my client list. Like her entire goal from the beginning was to help me not be on her client list anymore. And those 2 signs, he said, you found somebody who thinks right about their profession. So yeah, okay. J-Ho says, I use walks to vent to myself and try to talk through my issues. Absolutely. I will say this, when you're walking and venting, It's okay. Just understand that if all you're doing is venting, you're gonna like raise your anxiety levels a little bit. That the act of venting does, it kind of brings back all our issues, and so it kind of
Oh yeah,
brings them to the
it's true.
surface again. And so we might feel a little bit more anxiety at the time. But you're doing exercise too, which is good, and that can help you think a little bit more clearly. And sometimes if you can just talk through an issue, just saying it, bringing it to light can be enough to help you understand, oh, there's a little glitch here, there's a little hitch here, there's something that can be tweaked here and there, and you can find answers doing that, right? So anyway, I've talked now for way too long. I'm going to hand it over to Ryan because I want to hear what he has to say, and so do you. Even if you're not aware of this yet, you want to hear what he's got to say. So all right, so Ryan, it is all yours, buddy.
All right. I'll give it my best. Ellie, quick question for you. I think we talked about this before very briefly. Do you have any religious beliefs? Just out of curiosity, because it might help me to help you, if I know sort of your background there. And if you do, what are they? You don't have to go into detail, just name the religion. So what?
Ellie
Oh,
says
Christian.
I'm a
Okay,
Christian.
perfect. Okay. So here's some thoughts for you. Stress. Stress comes from, essentially, you're looking at your situation, and there are things that, well, of course, there are things that are stressing you out, but there are things that, well, one, they aren't going in the direction you want them to go in. They rely on you to go in the direction you want them to go on. And so you're constantly feeling like, well, essentially someone's got a fire under your butt. You're constantly feeling the dread. You're constantly being pushed forward by dread, while also trying to juggle the idea that you have dreams and there is a what's the word? There's like a timestamp on your dreams. There's a point where if you cross the threshold, you'll no longer be able to do your dreams. So these are, but I'm not saying for sure that that's what your mind is doing, but time constraint, yeah, thank you. But chances are that's probably what you're going through. Would you agree, Ellie, that that's kind of how you feel? You're I use the word, you got dread because you know that if you have to do these things that you're stressed about, and if you don't do them, they're going to go in a way that you don't want them to. Yeah. Okay. So that's good information to understand that that's what your stress is being caused by, is really helpful, because now you can reverse engineer that and recognize to help yourself not be so stressed. So here I'm going to use God for a second here. You're worried about how things are going to turn out, and you believe that it's up to you to make them to turn out good. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Did you forget about God? I know that's harsh, but if you believe in God, if you believe there is a God who is all powerful, all knowing, all loving, right? That's Christianity. Then you have to recognize that the main thing is going to be okay, because he's got that covered. The main things are going to be okay. If you're stressed over something that is not the main thing, then basically you're saying that that thing is more important than the main thing. What I mean is, I remember one time I was listening to a sermon, and they said, fear, the reason the Bible says, essentially, don't have fear for your life is because if you have or don't have so much worry, is that if you are a worrier, it means you're afraid of what's coming.
Mm.
But if you believe in God and that He's got your best interest, then there's no reason to be afraid. Okay? There's no reason to be afraid of what's coming. It doesn't mean you shouldn't work hard. It doesn't mean you shouldn't try to move things in the right direction as you are capable. You have free will, you're capable of doing that, right? It doesn't mean you shouldn't try to nudge things in the right direction the best you can. But it also means if you're afraid, it means you don't trust your life in the hands of your God. Right? And that's a hard pill to swallow, but if you can swallow it, if you can recognize my issue is that I don't believe that if things go wrong, I'll be okay. I don't believe that things are going to be okay, even if they don't go my way. Essentially, what you're saying is if they don't go the way I want them to, it's not okay.
Mm.
And what I would say to that is there's most things in life, 90% of the things in life that ever happen aren't going the way you want them to. And they're not going to end up going the way you want them to. And that's okay. In fact, that's good. Because we aren't all knowing, we aren't all powerful, we aren't all loving. And so if you can just take that little slice of humility and eat that humble pie. Wow. I put that right in there perfectly. If you can just take a slice of that humble pie and eat it and just go, you know what? These things, whether they go my way or not, I'm okay. My family's okay. The things that matter, it's okay. We're okay here. God's got this. And so if you can do that, that will reduce the stress by a lot. My point isn't to say give up on anything. My point is just to help you recognize, like, the reason you're stressed is because you're afraid things aren't going the way you want them to. It's okay to give up a little bit of having everything your way. I'm not saying you're a baby or that you're the kind of person that says it's my way or the highway, but this is one little tiny place in your heart that hasn't surrendered up your pride for just allowing things to be. And, you know, it's important to have a dream and say, I'm going to accomplish it and work hard at it. That's good. In fact, that's somewhat put into you, right? That dream. And you should act on it. If it's a good dream that does good for other people, that's something that you're inspired to do. That's something important. And you should be doing that. It's kind of more closer to one of the main things than it is some other things in life. Okay. So that's important. And doing things to make sure that you can secure the happiness of your family, that's important too. All of these things are important. I'm not saying the things that you listed aren't important and that they don't need you. Of course they are. But I guess what I'm saying is recognize it's okay and allow it to be okay. Allow it to be okay if it doesn't end up the way you wanted it to. Allow it to be okay if your family isn't perfectly happy.
Mm-hmm.
Allow it to be okay if you aren't necessarily happy with your progress. You know, you might be working on something and it could take, you're like, this should only take a couple minutes and it takes you 5 hours.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah. That's going to happen a lot in life. And when it does, recognize that that's okay. It wasn't the way you wanted it to go and it wasn't necessarily ideal. And maybe it slowed you down and it's put a a cramp in the rest of your progress for everything.
Yeah, and maybe other people are not all upset about it too.
Hmm. Keep God in mind in those things and just say, I was doing what I could. I did my part. There's nothing to stress about. I did my part. There's nothing to stress. Like, I have no further control over this. Then what am I worrying about? Like, whatever comes, comes.
Mm.
I'll handle it. Whatever comes, comes. God will handle it. We'll handle it together.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, my point is that allow things to be things. Allow things to be not the way you want them to. That will be one of the greatest stress reducers in life. You know, I guess one of the opposite of stress, it's not quite the opposite, but it's very close to it, is peace. Peace. Peace is one of those beautiful, rare things that people search for in their life. And I'll tell you, most people never find it. At least they don't find it for a long period of time. They find it for moments.
Mm-hmm.
And they live very stressful lives because they can't find peace. Peace is important. And peace is more, I think peace is better than happiness. Peace is better than, peace is literally better than, like, I don't know, most things in life. Okay. So, how do you get peace? Part of it is just being okay with the way things are. Peace is being, to some degree, happiness is being satisfied with where you are in life. Peace is also being satisfied with where you are in life, right? I think happiness is being excited for where you are or what's to come. But peace is a little bit more rudimentary. It's more foundational. It's something you can more rely on because peace builds virtue. Happiness does not. Happiness is a great feeling, and it's a great thing to chase after sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But peace, peace is something that builds fortitude inside of us. Peace is something that builds and strengthens us for the road and for the journey. And so, peace, where do you find that? Well, it might not be the same for everybody, or maybe it is. I'll tell you what, if I go sit down in church and I kneel and I pray, I'm at peace. Why? Generally, I know I'm where I need to be in the moment, and I'm doing the thing I'm supposed to be doing in that moment, and I could be doing nothing better. Okay? That can be very peaceful. Take that to your workplace. You are right where you need to be. Ellie, you are right where you need to be in order to do the things that God has asked of you, that you have asked of you, that you need to do. The main things in life are always available to you, and you're always in the right place at the right time to do the main things. Okay? So if you can have that peace with you and say, I'm in the right place at the right time right now, doing the things that I need to be doing, no reason to stress. All I can do is do my part, and wherever it takes me, and be happy with that. And that, oh my gosh, that goes so far. So I suppose whenever you're feeling the stress, just tell yourself that I'm in the right place at the right time doing the right things. Whatever happens, happens. I did my part, or I'm doing my part, whatever. And you might go, well, I'm not doing my part. There's this other thing I have to do over here, and this other thing I have to do over here, and I need a break. It's like, okay, yeah, you're going to have those thoughts, but you can calm them by saying, I will happily allow whatever happens to happen. Because if things all went my way, that wouldn't be good. Because there's someone, and there are other people in this world who have things that they want to do, and God is so much smarter than me, and He's got a plan. And so I'm fine. I'm already covered. I'm good. So keep the main things the main thing. And you might be like, what is the main thing? Well, for you as a Christian, it's being a mirror to God's light in the world, to be an example of God in this world, and to bring that beauty and that joy and that love and all of that into this world. And you are fully capable of being that. The other main thing is to be in a relationship with God for you, right? That's important. You know, religion is important because it gives you what the main things are.
Mm.
And so if you know what the main things are, you should be able to navigate all of life without almost any stress, unless it's something that has to do with destroying one of your main things. And if that's the case, that's a fair thing to be stressed about, and you need to get that solved. Like, that makes sense to me. You know? But if you're in a position and it's just like, it's work stuff, it's my dreams stuff, it's family happiness stuff. It's like, okay, question. Are you being a mirror of God's light in the world? Are you being an example of goodness? It's like, well, I'm trying. Okay, good. Let the rest go. Let the rest be whatever it ends up being, because you don't have control over that. You know, when I post music online, all I can do is do that. And like, yeah, I can do marketing and stuff like that. But like, my point is, there it is. It will be to other people's ears as it will be. I have no control over how people receive it. All I can do is just put out my best, and if I was stressed over it, it's like, man, I really got to make these numbers happen with this one, or we're going under, whatever, you know, something like that. It makes no sense because it's not something I can control anyways. And in your life, sorry to say, most things are things that are outside of your control. You can control like some of your actions, but then how other people receive them, what those actions end up leading to, how much you can get done in a day, what like all the different troubleshooting you have to do, like all of this kind of stuff. Most things are completely out of your control. So, and that should be relieving. That shouldn't feel painful to know that. I want you to know that it's not painful to know that most things are not in your control. It's good and beautiful, and it's a blessing that most things are not in your control. Okay, you can just let go of them and be at ease and be at peace. Okay, because you're fighting the hard fight here, and I think, you know, there are definitely times, you know, Joe was saying this too, you need to go for walks. Definitely times. There are times I go for walks now with my wife, and it's really refreshing and really great, and I love doing it. It really clears the mind. Um, and there are times you're gonna need a break. And here's the thing. In this world, we are meant to get things done. But in this world, we are also meant to experience joy within it and experience the joy that is this world. And if you focus too much on one of those things, you end up in a bad spot. So balance is important. If you revolve your entire world around working and solving things, there is no way you are not going to be stressed. You are going to be stressed 100%. No matter who it is on this planet, if they revolve their whole life around getting work done, I promise you that person is stressed. Likewise, if someone is in this world and all they do is sit there and consume their time with entertainment or pleasuring themselves or whatever, right? Just and doing stuff that has nothing to do with work, getting anything done, and that's all they ever do is like consume, if you will, be a glutton, but that's what it's called. I can guarantee you they're stressed out. and they might be depressed, and both of them might be depressed. But I can guarantee you they've got these intense stresses that they're avoiding. And my point is, there's so much in the world, and we aren't necessarily supposed to do it all. So don't concern yourself with doing that. But take time to enjoy the fruits of your efforts and relish in them and savor them. Take time to flourish in the fruits of others, other people's victories. Take time to flourish and rejoice in those things. Take time and to rejoice in the marvels of the world, whether it be the beautiful landscapes around you that you're not really noticing because your mind is so focused on your work. Or it could be just maybe go pick up a video game and play it and take some time to flourish and rejoice in the creativity of the other human beings and their dreams. Take time to pray. Take time to enhance your spiritual life. Take time to enhance your ability to receive joy. Because if you're so focused on doing things and you're never pleased with it, obviously you're going to be stressed. But if you can take some of that focus away and spend it on rejoicing, then you'll allow yourself to rejoice in the work that you're doing. And that's going to be way more helpful to you in inspiring yourself to do things and finding the motivation and the physical energy and the mental energy to do that battle. You're not going to have the mental energy to do the battle if the only thing you focus on is the troubleshooting constantly. Because it always feels like you're sinking. No matter how much, and you can't be inspired. You can't have that, you can't literally feel like your mind and body's on fire and energetic and being like, yeah, I'm ready to go, let's do this. If you're not able to rejoice in the things that you're actually doing. So you have to take time to learn to rejoice in the fruits of your labors. And that might be taking time to enjoy the fruits of others' labors first, or the fruits of whatever you can find, so that you can get in the habit of enjoying things so that you can then go and enjoy your own things. All of these things are relevant, and I know that was a lot of things, Rising Dawn. But these are the combat tools for stress, against stress. Because stress is a good thing in some cases. But most of the time people are stressed out, it's not a good case. And it isn't helping them. Mm-hmm. It's hindering them. Most of the time when people are stressed, they mean my stress is hindering me. They don't mean my stress is fueling me and making me do better. Right? So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the stress that is overwhelming, the stress where it's gotten to the point where it's hindering you and not helping you. So if you can get your stress levels to a point where they're like, hey, this is actually good. I can actually do something with this. That's great. But right now you're overwhelmed. So I think everything I've said is pretty relevant and should help. And don't be afraid to listen back to what Joe said and what I've said so far, because there was a lot in there. And it might take 3 listens to fully, I'm going to do each of these things. I'm going to concentrate on each of these things and really ingrain them into myself, because stress is not an easy battle. It doesn't go away with one good talk. Mm-hmm. It doesn't go away with one good revelation. Oh, that changes everything. If I thought about it this way, it's like, yeah, that's true, but your mind is still going to be running in circles in its habit, because that doesn't change so quickly. So feel free to literally make a little videotape, a little audio tape where you can pop this in and listen to it again. Pop this in and listen to it again. Feel free to literally just make a little recording and play it whenever you start to feel stressed out, because these are the things that you have to remember. It's not all in your hands. It's okay if it doesn't go your way. In fact, it's better if it doesn't, because life has so much to enjoy and so much beauty in it, and it is such a blessing. And we are so lucky to be here and so lucky to be alive in it. And you're sitting here stressing your life away rather than really actually just enjoying that you're a part of life. And that's oh my gosh. It's so good to be here. But there are things you need to get done. Yes, that's true. And you can get them done. Just do your part and be satisfied with that. Don't don't beat yourself up with what you like, oh, I couldn't get this done in the day. Well then you couldn't get it done. Why are you stressing over? Like you couldn't do it. What are you Oh no, the impossible. Yeah, okay, let it go. It's impossible. Like you're going to be okay. It's in God's hands. And that's awesome. Um praise praise the Lord. That's fantastic. So, and the other things I said, which I can't even remember, but they're all good points. So, Joe, with that, I'm gonna give it back over to you.
You said a lot, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it back over to you, and
you should be able to remember everything you said.
Oh, I have to play it back. The Holy Spirit is a lot smarter than I am.
Yes, that's very true. And there's a lot of great stuff. Ellie, yes, feel free. Ryan said he had a lot of input on different ways you can think, different things, and a lot of what he's talking about. Thank you, Ryan, for all that, by the way. And Ellie, thank you for the topic. And I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm sorry that you're going through this because it's hard. It is hard, and to be in your position is very, very difficult. And and I'm sorry that you're there. But I do want, if I can grab your attention for a moment right now. I want to say a couple things to you that I hope you can put in the back of your mind and say to yourself over and over and over again if you have to. And just remember these things. Ellie, I love you. And it's going to be okay. No matter what.
And you're good enough.
You are good enough.
Mm-hmm.
You are loved. You are good enough. And it's going to turn out okay. Things turn out how they turn out sometimes, right? I mean, they just do. And we don't always have control, like Ryan was talking about. And I wish that I had the same experiences that Ryan had, especially like when he talked about when I go to church and I sit and then I kneel. And he's like, I sit in church and I kneel. And I'm like, well, which are you doing? Are you sitting or kneeling?
Some people do that thing where they kneel, but their butt is still sitting on the chair.
I did that today.
You're really tired?
No, I was just in line. I was waiting to go to confession, and the line was long. Okay.
Yeah. I meant my body is not sitting position, but in church. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. No, I get you.
Yep, that's funny.
But anyway, there are so many times, and I know I've told this story. I don't know if I've told it here on Don't Worry Wednesday. If I have, it's been a really, really long time. But there are many, 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 many times. I used to go to Mass every day. Every day without fail. And every day I went to Mass, it was torture. It was spiritual torment. I was under so much stress. Going through a divorce, going through job changes, there's all kinds of different things. And like trying to figure all this kind of stuff out. And sometimes you feel like, I don't know if you've seen the old movie Aladdin. I mean, and kind of like my job at BSS, sometimes it seems like, because I talk to all the different artists on our roster, and sometimes I'm like the genie and going, poof, what do you need? Poof, what do you need? Poof, what do you need? It's like, and I'm like, what the heck, right? And when you're under overwhelming amounts of stress and you are at your full capacity, it can be absolutely the heaviest feeling. And tormenting, no matter what place you're in. And I can remember going to Mass, because at Mass, I wasn't there to seek peace, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I was there to offer my struggles as sacrifice, along with Christ's sacrifice on the altar. That was what I was there to do. And it was torture. My heart was so heavy, and it was so painful inside, and I would like tremble. I'm like kneeling there, and they're raising up the Eucharist, and all this kind of stuff, and I'm like trembling, shaking, and like maybe sweating even. I don't even remember, but I just remember being there and like almost crying every time, because it just hurt, because of the amount of stress that was happening. And I didn't know what was going to happen. I had no idea how anything was going to turn out. I had no idea if my kids would even like me. I had no idea if I would even have a relationship with them. I had no idea what was going to even happen as a result of everything that was going on at the time. All I knew was that it hurt, and it was hard. And so sometimes, we have to take things one chunk at a time, because when you're overwhelmed, it says here you've got things that may be a legal issue. And I think I saw in the chat there's something, possible harassment going on at work. Super Neon Blue had great advice, said, leave. And that's, sometimes that's the best thing you can do. If something is happening that's illegal and it needs to be brought to the forefront, and you feel like you need to be the whistleblower on that, that's okay too. And I can understand if you feel like you're in that position, taking that responsibility upon yourself to be that individual, looking at the possible ramifications of, oh my gosh, what if this goes to court? What if I have to testify? What if there's all this kind of different stuff? But what? Man, that can be overwhelming just in and of itself. And then you have your family members. It says here, issues with you trying to take on the happiness of my family. And I'm guessing what you mean by that is that you feel like it's your job to make sure that they're happy. Is that true? Or that they're content. And you kind of take personal responsibility for their contentment or their happiness. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But if that's the case, yeah, that's true. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I understand that too. I understand. And I understand how hard it is when it almost seems like people are upset, and it always feels like it's my fault that they're upset. Because sometimes you have a person there that's telling you that it's your fault that everybody's upset. But they're wrong. They're upset because they chose to be upset. They're unhappy because they chose to be unhappy. And I'll tell you, it's not your responsibility to make anybody happy. Even if you're married, it's not your responsibility to make your spouse happy. Yes, Super Neon Blue, you cannot control other people's emotions. It's their choice. That's so true. And sometimes people are just not pleasable.
Yeah. Yep.
They're just not. Yep. Neon Blue, you're right. Yes, you can try to influence people in a positive way, but in the end, it's their choice whether or not to be influenced. And that's so true. And so I hope, Ellie, that, and I know that just us saying it probably isn't going to convince you, because this is a thought habit where you have this habit of thinking that, you're responsible for their happiness. And so that's a lot to have on you. And it's not necessary. It's not necessary. You aren't responsible for their happiness or lack thereof. And Super Neon Blue said also, let people down. You have to get good with letting people down. Here's the truth about that. We will let people down. There's no two ways about it. It's just going to happen. If we live our lives in any way, and then you talk about wanting to accomplish your dreams, that is absolutely key, because who you are going to become in your life is what's going to have the greatest influence on the most people, because that's what you're built for. And along the process of accomplishing that, if there are people that want something from you or want something out of you, you're going to let them down. And they may be very vocal about making sure you know that they let you down, or that you let them down.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand. I understand being beaten by words a lot. But the best thing you can do for yourself and for the world and for everybody around you is to be who you are, to pursue that which you feel called to do. And everything else is what has to happen is we have to figure out a way to set that stuff aside. Because there are all kinds of people that you may feel like they depend on you, and they may say they depend on you. And a lot of times, sometimes we get put into positions where, yes, in this position, people are depending on me. Like we talked about at the beginning, we started a cabinet company. I've started lots of businesses. Well, maybe not lots, like 7, right? Some of them have been successful until I closed them. Some of them are still open. So, I think 2 are being run right now, right? So like they're, but in every case, there were people that depended on me to do what I needed to do my job, right? Because we're in a partnership of some kind. We're in a business partnership, and so we're depending on each other. But at the same time, the thing that gets backwards in a lot of these cases, and especially, it sounds like you and I might have similar personalities. We take responsibility for a lot of things. We're idealists. So we want things to be done well. We want things to be in the ideal. We want things to be consistent. Like a lot of those things, But here's the thing. What I started to finally notice was that even though all these people depended on me, I was never really upset when somebody didn't hold up their end of the thing or whatever. It was like, whatever. It's like, I'm handling my part. I'll do my best. I'll continue to do my part, all this kind of stuff. And if somebody fails and whatever, I didn't get mad at them. I didn't get upset with them. I wasn't like all crushed about it. But the weird thing was, even though I didn't treat others that way, others would treat me that way. If I didn't hold up something, if I failed somehow. So there was this huge disparity of how they expected to be treated versus how they treated me. And that lopsided nature of things finally started to come to light, and it made me mad. And then I'm like, okay, now I'm mad, and what the heck, and how am I supposed to deal with this? And then I was told that I shouldn't be mad and that I was wrong to be mad and like don't be mad and blah, blah, and all this stuff, and so I started to think it wasn't okay to be mad, and then I'm like, now I'm just stifling it all and I'm shoving it down and I'm not doing anything about it, and I'm just like, and then I had this grand like perception of myself and saying, look at how controlled I am. Look at how much self-control I have. This thing made me so mad and I didn't react. Now that's good, but I still didn't deal with the anger. I just shoved it down. And if you do that long enough, the anger freezes and becomes depression. And maybe that's where you're heading right now. And maybe that's why you said, I don't know how to deal with this and I'm feeling depressed due to it. Really depressed due to it. So maybe there's some anger there that you're experiencing because of a lot of this stuff that's happened. But you're feeling like it's not okay to be angry. It's not okay to express anger. And so you're burying it, and then it sits there unaddressed and becomes depression. And so one of the first exercises my therapist had me do was she said, okay, so you're dealing with a lot of stifled anger, a lot of buried, frozen anger. We need to get you into the habit of healthily expressing your anger. So the first thing I want you to do is make yourself angry. How do you do that? What kinds of things can make you angry? Are there things that you can think of that make you angry? Is there music you can listen to that makes you angry? Is there
Make yourself angry in a controlled environment.
Yes.
Essentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. So, and she was like, okay, so do things to make yourself angry and then go play your drums really hard. Or go run. Or go do push-ups. Or go do taekwondo, or, and she was like, what kind of stuff do you have? And I have a heavy like punching bag, right? From when I was doing taekwondo. And she's like, okay, so make yourself really angry and then just punch it a lot. Or make yourself really angry and then go run or push-ups, right? Something physical. Because what that does, when we're feeling that elevated emotion, it's preparation for us to take action. And if we don't take action, it kind of sits unaddressed. And so then is the time to blow off that steam in a productive way, whether it's through exercise or, in my case, drumming. You could do so in music. I know in a lot of cases, if I'm feeling really emotional and I go play an instrument, that helps a lot. You say that's a dangerous idea. I understand. But the idea was, I was to the point where it was an automatic response. I would feel the anger stimulus and I would immediately bury it. So I had to allow myself to experience the anger because it had become a habit for me to just downplay it. So in that case, I had to let myself be angry, understand it's okay, and then blow off that steam in an appropriate way. Not through aggression toward another person, but through some kind of exercise, some form of physical activity. And that helped with a lot. That moved through a lot of steps. But Ellie, I'm sorry. Again, I'm sorry you're stressed. And we've talked about this stuff for a while now. And we've said a lot. But I do want to let you know that where you're at is okay. Ryan said where you're at is exactly where you need to be. It doesn't feel like that, I know, because it's a painful, stressful, overwhelming situation.
Mm-hmm.
But you experiencing this is part of your path. And I think you've shared some of your dreams, some of your goals, some of the things you want to do. There are some big things in media production that you want to do, if I'm not mistaken. There's some big things in creating videos, having lots of people that are working on these videos, right? You've got live action dreams for doing live action video and all kinds of stuff. So you're going to be handling actors. You're going to be handling all this kind of stuff. This situation, these stressful things, this is preparation for you. I'm not saying it's going to be this bad. It's not going to be, I'm not saying that things are always going to be this stressful, that, you're always going to have to deal with this. But this is part of the path that prepares you to become the person you need to be in order to handle the size of the dream that you want to accomplish. One of the reasons we're told don't pray for patience, because there's only one way to achieve patience. And that's to, want something and have to wait.
Yep.
Right?
Patience.
Patience.
Be satisfied with where you are
young
now and be
grasshopper.
excited for the future.
Yep.
But it's not easy.
But in order to, if you have big dreams, the path is big struggle. I'm sorry. Just is.
That's true.
So what this is telling me is, like, you're being mentally prepared. So I would love to talk to you. You feel free to reach out to me on Discord. I will answer you as soon as I possibly can. I'm not on there nearly as much now that I'm at the cabinet shop all the time. But man, I would love to hear from you. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to know more about this, because I love hanging around big dreamers. I love hanging around that, because I also understand having big dreams and then also getting handed big plates of struggle.
Yeah.
Because that prepares you to be the person that can handle the size of your dream. And I love you.
Hey, Chris.
And it's going to be okay. Insert some Icarus quote about trying not to take bigger steps than you can, or something. Yeah, that's true. Because sometimes you're in it and you want it to get fixed. And you're like, there should be just one thing I can do that fixes it all, but it's not. Sometimes it's a process that takes years.
Yeah.
And so that's one perspective. Think you are loved. It's going to be okay. And always keep in mind, one of the things I had to remind myself all the time was, I'm playing the long game. I'm not going for a quick win. I'm playing the long game. And I had to think about that with my kids. I had to think about all that kind of stuff, because it's like a lot of things I went through with my kids throughout the divorce was really, really painful, and it looked really, really bad. And most of the people around me told me all these things were wrong and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, you don't understand. Like, I'm playing the long game. I'm looking toward a long-term future relationship with these people. And I'm doing things according to that. Not according to everything's going to be perfect right now, or everything's going to be just right now, or I'm going to be the perfect dad right now, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to do everything that society or the church or that everybody says is the right thing as a parent right now. Because things get nuanced when you're dealing with weird influences, man. And so you have to think in terms of the long game and use some prudence. So in the midst of that, how do you find peace right now? Ryan said it, you can pray. You can meditate. You can do some yoga, you can do some exercise. You can do some things like that. I went kayaking.
You can remind yourself that you're where you're meant to be.
Yep. Remind yourself of that. And it's going to be okay.
Mhm.
Whatever these struggles are, whatever the challenges are, whatever it is that you're going through, they turn out. Ellie, you're absolutely welcome. Thank you for the topic. My goodness.
Yeah, exactly, Hero. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Hero. But anyway, wow. We talked for a while on that topic, man.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else, Ryan?
I mean, I got some things.
There's all kind
Yeah.
like we could go on and on and on.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
This
I
is a
just want
big
to
deal.
say two things. Rising Dawn, just put this. Joe gave you some things to keep in the back of your mind. You are loved, and I want to let you know also. You can just settle this debate with yourself right now. You are also very lovable.
Mm-hmm.
You just exactly as you are right now. You are very lovable, and even though there are things that are not perfect with you, and you're like, well, you don't know all the things I've done, and so on and so forth. I don't need to know. You are lovable, very much so.
Mm-hmm. I can tell just by the
And
words
so,
you use in the chat.
hmm so don't. So you can just put that in the back of your mind as well, so that you can just have that problem solved. You don't have to question anymore. Yes, you are loved, and you are very lovable. Also, if what Joe was talking about with the anger, with putting it in the back, and if that resounded with you at all, I just want to say the fundamental problem is that you're telling yourself that you're in the wrong
Mm-hmm.
over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that's going to lead to depression because what's your idea of yourself? You're in the habit of saying, well, I'm always wrong anyways,
Mm-hmm.
or I can't do things or whatever. You're habitually disregarding yourself. So how can you love yourself and habitually disregard yourself? You can't. So you're of course going to be depressed. That's going to be the outcome. So my point is that just if you are doing anything along those lines, that might be part of the reason why stress is ultimately leading you to depression, because you're basically your brain is focused on the fact that you're not good enough, or you're in the wrong, or you're not justified in thinking the way you think or feeling the ways you feel. That whatever it is, you're the problem.
Mm.
And I want to let you know that. Well, obviously, you know now everything Joe said was right. So I don't need to speak on it, but you get the idea. If you're doing anything where you're basically doing that to yourself over and over, stop that. Because it's not good. Even okay, there are times where it's true, right? There are times where it's like, well, that's not appropriate. What I did was wrong. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that can be true. Great, go solve that. Okay.
Why do you think I go to confession so often?
That's yeah, exactly. Confession, whatever it is, that's fair. That's a time to do it, right? Don't just say, "Oh, get rid of." I'm never wrong. No, you don't want to be like that. Yeah, obviously, that's a whole nother problem. But my point is, if you've gotten yourself into a habit of telling yourself like you're in the wrong about this, or your concerns don't really matter, or whatever it is, just remind just try to keep reminding yourself like, no, that's a bad habit to put in place. That's going to make me depressed, and that's not useful. Literally, it gets me nowhere. um and it's not even true. My thoughts are very important because I was put here on this earth
Mm.
by someone who is even more important than I am, and with intention. So here we are. I am pretty important. So just keep that in mind, okay? Other people are important too,
Mm-hmm.
but that's important to have some amount of self interest.
Yep. Other
Yeah.
people are important,
And I think someone else was saying that. I think
and
it was
so are you.
Nancy. Hmm. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay to care for yourself
Mm-hmm.
and do the things that you need to do to take care of yourself. But anyways, okay, that's all I wanted to say. And now we've got 11 minutes to do another topic if we want,
No, we can do
or we can
another
go over
topic
it.
and we can go over because
Yeah,
we took
we
last week
weren't here
off,
last week. That's right. Not
so
out of choice, but
we can do what we want.
Yeah. It's not like we were taking a
It
vacation.
was a choice, actually. It was a
It was a
choice.
choice, but it wasn't a vacation.
You chose to fly in an
That's right.
airplane.
That's right.
I
It was the
chose
right choice.
to
Hmm.
work extra. Like
Hmm.
these are, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we made that choice. And so what we can choose
Hmm.
to do another topic and not rush through it. And yeah, we can dance if we want.
And we can leave our dance behind. I'm going to. Wait, it's Friends, but that's fine. I'm not going to
Did
do
you
that.
see all the dancing I did at your wedding reception?
No, I didn't.
That's right, because I did
Sorry.
none.
I
I cannot dance
thought
if
about it.
I
I was
don't
like,
want to,
people that
too.
dance. I remember seeing you up there dancing, but I was like, maybe he was dancing at his table. But either way, I didn't see it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we can do
Okay,
one
have
of
a great
yours in
night,
20
Sole.
minutes, Anglios. Yeah, we can do it in 20 minutes.
Okay,
For
we'll
sure.
give it a shot. We'll do our best.
So you said, okay, so Ellie, thank you very much for the topic. Shade, I haven't seen you in forever. It's good to see you.
Hey, Shade. Nice.
I was just thinking about the Minecraft server. But anyway, Ellie, thank you again for the topic. And Mianglios, if you're game to stick around for 20 minutes, we can do your topic in 20 minutes. We'll set a timer. We don't want you to miss dinner.
Which one?
You said the first or last? How to adult or resisting negative influence. Which one of those sounds better?
Oh, man.
Oh, do the
Resisting
driving one?
negative.
Oh, so now
Okay.
okay. It's
I
the
was-
least deep and
yeah.
thought-provoking, and will therefore take the least time. Okay,
Yeah.
no problem. We'll do
Yes,
tips for
because how to
driving
adult
instructors.
could be a little long, but resisting negative influence could be really long.
Yeah.
So-
All right, we'll do the
Yes.
driving one.
Private, yes.
All right. Cool. Sweet. All right. It's going to be a fun topic. It even says
What are you guys
so
having
right
for
at the
dinner?
beginning.
What are you having, J-Ho? What are you having,
Oh,
Amplios?
yeah. What is for dinner?
What's for dinner?
I had a big old plate full of chicken and rice.
Wow. Nice. When I get done with Don't Worry Wednesday, I'm going to make lunch, and I have an idea what I'm going to do.
Oh, your
Something.
girlfriend is not. You're eating Dominoes? Like actual wooden Dominoes or plastic ones?
I hope it's the plastic ones.
Or,
of course he means
or do you mean the pizza, Domino's
the
pizza?
pizza, but I'm yeah, no, I like the idea.
I just took a whole leftover Domino's pizza to the shop like the other day, and I was talking to your brother Kyle, and I was like, "Hey man, I got leftover pizza in here for when my kids were over for the weekend," and he's like, "Okay, I'll have some." For the wooden.
Then he
ones
turns
have
and
more
sees that it's
fiber.
Domino's.
But he was like, and I was like, "You gonna eat it cold or put it in the microwave?" Because we have a microwave there that's never been used.
Oh, because yes, okay, yes. Go on.
And he was like, "I can't eat it cold. This is Domino's. It needs help."
Oh, nice, yeah.
Because Domino's, I mean, it's inexpensive pizza. It's still good. It's still good. Does the trick, right? But all right. Let's do.
Some people prefer it. I think there's just different palate.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
I can eat Domino's cold too. Yep. I could eat their garlic seasoned crust cold all day.
Oh, sure, yeah, that
So
sounds good. I actually agree. I mean, I'd rather eat the wood ones than the plastic ones first.
Can I just eat a panda?
Actually, the wood ones might have like the toxic, like I don't know if they dyed them or if they've like got the resin on them that actually is more damaging than plastic.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Be careful with that.
I don't know. All right, here I'm gonna put the topic up on the screen, and then you guys can read it. It's pretty.
Do this one quick.
It's quick and it's simple and it's gonna be fun. So this is gonna be a good one. All right, here we go. Mianglios' topic: tips for driving instruction, and it reads like this. Here's a fun topic: tips for teaching someone how to drive. Ooh, I got all kinds. There's all kinds of directions we could take this one.
Yeah. Okay, first one. Dear driving instructors, don't make your students cry in the car. we had we had a an awful driver instruction where I grew up. We had two of them. One of them was great. One of them was not good with people,
Ooh.
and he made every year there was at least one person, usually a girl, but at least one person every year for like 10 years in a row. He made somebody cry, have to pull over in tears because they're crying so hard, and then he just berates them like about and he was awful.
Dude.
He also I drove perfectly fine, and he was like, I just don't feel confident in your driving, so he held me back. So I went to a different driver instructor, and they were like, you drive just fine. Here's your pass. Yeah, he just holds certain people back just randomly because he's like, I can get more money out of that way. Because he gets like $400-$500 every time he holds someone back. So he would just do it. He was horrible.
Wow.
Like legitimately.
Wow. That's crazy. J-Ho, that's a great rule. Rule number 1, assume all other drivers don't know what they are doing on the road.
True.
Yep.
True.
And you don't necessarily have to assume all other drivers don't know what to do, but assume any other driver out there
Yeah.
doesn't know what they're doing. And I remember because we had the driving class where you drove with an instructor, and then you had the in-class class too, part. Did you have that when you were in driver's training?
Oh, sorry.
Like class time and driving time?
Yes, we did. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember in class time, the guy said one time, he's like, okay, so what's it tell you when somebody has their blinker on to turn right? And somebody raised their hands like, well, they're about to turn right. And he said, no.
No.
All that tells you is that blinker works.
Exactly. So true. There are times where I go to, I mean, this is like probably like 25% of the time I drive, and I'm like driving a short distance. I get onto like a part where I have to wait for cars to pass, and I see this car is coming towards me, and they've got their blinker on, and it's like they're gonna turn onto my street, and I could go right now, but they're going a little too fast. I'm gonna wait, and I always wait. I always wait until I know that they're slowed down enough that it actually looks like they're making a turn, because you don't know. And there are times where I've been right. I'm like, okay, glad I didn't go, So, yeah, don't trust people's blinkers.
Yep. Know the difference between brights and headlights. Yeah, that comes with time and experience, I find. And sometimes trucks will throw it out. Like sometimes you got some dude in a lifted up truck,
Yeah, and it will look like the brights, but
or if
not.
somebody like loaded up their trunk.
Bumps. Yeah.
And they got a lot of stuff in their trunk, and so the back of their car is like weighed down, and so now they're like pointed up slightly. I've run into that before too. But yeah, there are times but that's if you're driving at night, right? So like if you're driving during the day, yes, assume that any other driver you meet out there doesn't know what they're doing. Assume that, so to put it shortly, drive defensively. Don't I've gotten to ride with my son is in driver's training, right? He's got his permit, and so he's riding, he's driving and I'm riding with him from time to time. And, and he takes it slow, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Honestly,
you don't have to drive the speed limit. You don't have to. Yeah. That's the That's the high limit, right? And
that's the limit.
You don't have to go that fast. No matter how much everybody's getting mad behind you, whatever. You don't have to. It's okay. You're gonna be all right.
A really good reminder I think that instructors could give to their students is, you might have the tendency, if you're running late, to try to speed up to get to places. But generally, you're not saving any time.
No, you're already
late. Because you're gonna get to that light and wait anyways. And now your stress is causing you to like drive a little bit with less care. It's much better to drive slow and make it there at all than it is to cause an accident and not make it there, or get pulled over by the police and wait. It's like, just go the speed limit, even if you're late. because it really doesn't make up enough time. Like literally, you'll go like 5 miles an hour faster than the person behind you, and you'll get to your destination, and by the time you get out of your car, they're parked too, and you're like, what was I speeding for? Like literally, they made it here. Like literally, like just like I don't know, like 20 seconds later. Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like just be safe. Way more important.
Mm-hmm. Baca. It's not common, but someone will make a right turn from the left turn lane and vice versa. I actually did that not too long ago because I discovered I was gonna be going the wrong way, and there was
That's
no
horrifying.
traffic. It was late, and like nobody was around or nothing. I could have probably gotten a ticket if there was a cop around, if there was anybody around, but I was the only car on the road, and so it was like, oh, I'm gonna go the wrong way here.
Yeah, I've
So what
done
do I
that with
do if
traffic.
I'm in the left turn lane and I needed to go right instead? I'm like, there's nobody around. I'm gonna just turn right because the other option is okay. I'm gonna go turn left and then I'm gonna turn left again and then I'm gonna come turn around and then I'm gonna turn right and then I'm gonna go straight.
Yeah.
Right? Like no.
If there's
Yeah.
actual traffic, I will
Oh
obey
yeah.
the law there, obviously. But yeah, if
Absolutely.
there's no one on the road, I've been like, oh shoot, I'll go the other way.
You've done it 5 times in mild traffic.
What?
Oh, you've had it done 5 times in mild traffic. Okay,
Oh,
not that you've done
oh,
it 5 times.
okay.
I read that and I'm like, you've done it 5 times in mild
I
traffic.
was, I
Whoa.
was, yeah, yeah. Goodness. Hmm. Yeah, these are all
Yeah.
good tips.
Yep, they are. They are.
Yes,
We're getting better tips from the chat than what we're saying. So keep it coming, chat. Keep it
keep
coming.
it coming. Yeah, you guys
Um,
have good stuff.
well, driving. I mean, here's the thing you gotta remember, right? Like, you're in this big metal container
Yeah,
going fast.
go real fast.
And like there are other people going just as fast the opposite direction.
Uh-huh.
And on like a regular two-way road, like there's a matter of feet between you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So traffic laws matter because they keep us alive.
That's 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 not over dramatic. It's just true.
Right? And I
Hmm.
sat there and I thought about this. There are people that come up with all these things. Wait, what? Traffic ticket on a provisional license could get your license revoked and increase your insurance. That makes sense. Um,
Yeah.
so, they do. There are people that monitor the amount of traffic in certain places, and that's how they determine speed limits, where to put stoplights, where to put stop signs, where to make a highway 2 lanes or 3 lanes or 6 lanes or whatever. Like there are they do they watch this stuff. It's somebody's job to monitor that stuff, and then they make those improvements that are necessary. And I'm so happy because in Lansing, Michigan, where I live, right? Like there's this place where I-496 hooks up with US 127, and there's this merge where you have a city freeway and then a major freeway, and they're both coming from different parts of the city, and they come together. And it was a
Mm.
place where like you would have you started with 3 lanes on each of those highways, and they merged together into 2 lanes.
Yeah. No, wrong. Bad.
They're just now and surprise, surprise, there's always an accident there every Friday.
Hmm. Well, yeah. Oh my gosh. That's awful.
It's like
Okay.
you just had to count on there being an accident there, right? Because it just
Yes, of
always would
course.
happen. And finally they're making it bigger. Like I'm happy for this construction right now because they're
Oh my
making it bigger.
goodness.
It's ridiculous, man. Um so anyway, Yeah, I think one of the best things is pay attention. There's a reason why, they say don't drive under the influence. It's because it affects your ability to pay attention
Mhm.
to what you're doing. And yeah, I don't want to like get y'all stressed out about the gravity of the situation of driving, because I find driving to be quite enjoyable.
Yeah, and it's actually a really good way to relieve stress too.
Mm-hmm.
At times, not like stress driving, like you're running the road with rage, but like just like taking a drive.
Yep.
It can be nice.
Take a drive out in the country. I remember when I was a property inspector and I'd drive all day, driving around all these country roads all over the place. Those are some of the
Hmm.
best times, because I'm driving out in the middle of nowhere, maybe some
Yeah, I
really
love that.
nice landscapes, whatever, you just
Hmm.
nice, Like in some places there'd be more cows crossing the road than cars in the road, like
That's right. Yes. I remember out in Colorado, I got swarmed by cows. There's a whole herd of cows, and they were all around my car at one point. And I was like, "This is happening. Okay, this is great." I recorded it in video, but yeah,
Yep.
pretty great.
So I
Yep.
think but I do think probably the biggest tip. I mean, Jeho, that one you put in there is that's pretty important. And I didn't word it that way. Assume all the drivers don't know what they're doing. I worded it to my son. I said, just remember what Jack Sparrow said in Pirates of the Caribbean. And he's a guy who memorizes movie lines like I do, right? So
Oh, yeah, I
like,
can't.
so we can speak
Yeah,
this
if you said
language
that,
to
I'd
each
be
other.
like, I
Like
can't do
you're
that.
gonna have to say the line now, Joe, because I'm not
Yeah,
gonna like.
yeah, I'm not even close.
It's like,
So
why
what's the
is all
line?
the rum gone?
That's the one. Yeah, that would make sense. That's right. That actually really checks out.
Mayonnaise was invented by the French. Oh, you guys, no.
Harley. Oh my gosh.
Parlez, parlez, he said, remember this. There's only two rules: what a man can do and what a man can't do.
I've got a jar of dirt. Sorry. I've got a jar of dirt.
Because here's
Okay,
the
yes.
thing:
Those sorry, yours. Yeah.
what a man can do and what a man can't. Remember, those are the only two rules out there. Because, oh, there's a stop sign, they have to stop. They don't. I mean,
Hmm.
legally, yes, they could get a ticket if they don't, but they don't have to. If they choose
Hmm.
not to, it comes down to their choice.
Hmm.
They can run that stop sign or that stoplight. They can do it, right? So like you guys, you guys are so great. We're quoting all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Specifically Jack Sparrow
Because I said
because
yes.
it was never
Remember what Jack
for
Sparrow
driving.
said, right? And for driving, just remember, there's only two rules: what a man can do and what a man can't do. If somebody can make a U-turn in the middle of the road and mess up the whole flow of traffic, they can do that, and they just might.
Hmm. You might see that.
So keep
You,
your eyes open.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys keep going with these quotes.
He was a fine ship.
But so there's that, and so just that's in a longer way of saying, drive defensively, pay attention to what other people are doing, and then the other thing is relax. The better you can do at
Yes.
staying relaxed while you're driving.
Mm-hmm.
They had a saying in Krav Maga where they were like, what was it? Slow is fast,
Mm.
which was trying to help us understand, if you think slow, you can do things faster. If you're more relaxed, you're not inhibited by tension. So you can make quicker movements. And that's true in driving
Hmm.
too. If you're relaxed, you can respond quicker.
Alert but relaxed. Yeah.
Yes, alert and relaxed. Because then, like, and for drummers, for drumming, they were like, the
Mm.
the more relaxed you are, the faster you can play. Which is why you'll see these drummers that are like super duper fast, and they're not looking like they're trying hard at all. They're just like sitting there,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
because the more relaxed you are, the more quick you can be in your responses. Oh, oh my gosh, we're still People can go down the road the wrong way in a one-way. Yes, they can. I've done that before too, and it freaked me out, man. I remember.
Yeah, it freaks everybody. I freaks everybody out when not just like everyone. I mean, anyone who ever goes down a one way, and you recognize it's a one way and you're the wrong way. You're like, oh, even if no one's on the road, you're like, oh.
Yeah. There is nothing like turning right. Or no, I turned left, right? I turned left, and I didn't realize it was a divided road.
Oh, right.
You know, I didn't realize there was a median, so it's all one way, and then you had to go across the median, and then it's all one way on the other side, right? The other way, the way I was actually going to be going. I didn't get all the way around the median. I just turned left, and I saw 4 lanes of headlights coming right at me.
Oh.
And I was like, and I ditched into a Burger King parking lot like really, really fast, you know? Like I was like, oh my gosh, that freaked me out.
I'm glad that I was like, what did you do? Glad you found a little parking lot to go into.
Turn right to go left. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, everybody on the street was like, "Well, that jerk, he just went the wrong way to get into that Burger King."
Yeah.
Man, Burger King people are terrible. And you're like,
I know, yeah, that was not it at all. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Turn right to go left. Up is down. What?
All right, I think we've hit our 20 mark.
Yes, we did. We did hit our 20
Thank you,
mark.
Young Ghost, for the great topic.
That was a fun topic. Yes, and I had no idea you guys knew the Jack Sparrow lines so well. You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, Shade has a great piece of advice. Give semi-trucks space. Yes.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't thinking that. I was just thinking it was a really good advice. When you're behind a semi, just give him space. If you see like anything like he's starting to turn, don't try to go around him. Just give him space, because I've seen semi trucks do weird stuff, and you can't see in front of them very well, so you get out and you're just in a bad spot. So
they might be really tired. A truck driver may be very exhausted, so they may be a little sloppy.
Yeah.
So just be aware of that. And there's a sign I started seeing on a lot of trucks that I really appreciate. It says, "If you can't see my mirrors, I can't see you."
Right.
So if you're up close to behind a truck, you know, and you can't see their mirrors off the sides, they don't know you're there.
Yeah. And he might make a bad decision because of it. Yep.
Yes.
One last thing. Last piece of advice for drivers and instructors to give to their pupils.
Don't be a jerk.
Advise everybody advise every one of their students to petition to take bicycles off the road and back onto the sidewalks, and make it a law that swap the law around, because the law says they're not allowed on the sidewalks. Bicycles have to go on the road. Swap that in every state, in every country ever, because it is terrifying to be in a car and someone's in a bike in front of you on the road, or even just on the side of you trying to go, like, you know, they're sticking it out like right against the sidewalk there, right against the little bump, and you're like, man, don't you like make a single mistake, because I'm driving past you right now. It is the worst horrible thing ever. In terms of road laws, that petition needs to be placed seriously. It is so awful.
But your wife has a very important point. It's not nice as a pedestrian To have a bike come barreling down the sidewalk.
Okay, here's the thing though. I'd rather be a pedestrian getting hit by a bike than a bike getting hit by a car.
Yeah.
And I'd rather be a pedestrian getting hit by a bike than driving a car and hitting someone on a bike. I would rather get hit by a bike than hit someone with my car. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, no matter what, it's always better. No matter, like, oh no, you hit someone on a bike. Oh, like, yeah, if they imagine the other scenario, hitting someone with a car. Way worse. So
yeah, but sometimes you
yeah.
can't give people their own lane, right? So
Oh shit, that's so scary.
Oh wow. Fall off their bike into the road in front. Dang. Hey, Mianglios, have a good night. See you later. Thank you for the topic. Thank you for the fun topic.
Like one of my
thanks
worst
for the
fears.
other ones. And we hope to see you next week where we do some more of your topics. Have a great dinner.
That is my worst fear.
Yeah,
have a great night. Have a great dinner. Enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, but here's the thing. We all share the road. And in some places there aren't any sidewalks. And so you got pedestrians, bicyclists, and cars all in the road.
Yeah.
I live out in the country. True. There are no bike lanes. There's no sidewalks.
Yeah, but it's different when you're...
And the speed limit's 55, not 35.
Yeah. Yeah, that's scary. Yeah. But you expect it. Like, you expect to see it, you know? To some degree. I remember going up the mountains and just, like, there would be bikers climbing up the mountain with me. And then... they're going like 1 mile an hour up this mountain because they can't, like, they're pedaling their hardest.
They are pedaling like, this guy's insane. And they're pedaling fast because they're in a really low gear, but they're only going like one.
And so you're in a car behind him. You're like, okay, dude, this is a really long hill. We're going to be here for a long time. And he's like over on the side. He's like, just go past. And I'm like, no way. No way, dude. I will kill you. Like, that's what's going to happen if I try to pass you.
Neon Blue, I'm going to answer your question. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, of course you can.
Depends on what the recipe is.
It's cake.
If it's...
Maybe.
Oh, I was going to say if you're making a rum and Coke, no, you can't use vodka because then it becomes a vodka and Coke.
It's a rum cake. It's no longer rum cake.
It's
vodka cake.
Strawberry custard cake. Oh, well.
With a little bit of rum. Yeah.
Why are you doing something like that anyway?
Why not use the vanilla? But vanilla vodka is going to be good.
Why is the rum gone?
Yeah, why is the rum gone? Well, we didn't buy any. We actually... No, we don't have any. Okay, thank you, sweetheart.
And why are you making a strawberry custard cake? Custard is like the devil.
Custard's like literally one of my favorite things ever. I love custard. It's so good.
I'm glad to know you enjoy the devil.
Oh my goodness. It's not like I'm killing bugs and not eating them or something.
I do that all the time because it's great.
Wow. Fondant? Jeho? You know what? I feel like... Here's the thing. I think it's a little extreme. But I'm not going to say that what you're saying is wrong either. Fondant is intense.
What is fondant? All I can think of is fondue.
Oh, fondue are completely different things, yeah. Fondant is the sugar sculpting thick. Yeah, mosquitoes are the devil, yes, that's correct. Mosquitoes are spawn of Satan. I'll show you what fondant is.
Okay.
It's
fondant.
It's the stuff you sculpt like...
Oh, effectively edible clay to use to decorate. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. I see.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you're right. That's nasty.
It is. They put it on cakes,
That's
and it's
worse.
like, why did you ruin
That
my
is
cake?
worse than custard.
Yeah.
Fondant is worse than custard.
There you go. I sent pictures even though you already figured it out.
Yeah. Thank you.
Or,
Oh, you have a question
Wait,
for Ryan. What's the question
Ryan.
for Ryan? I will answer the question for Ryan.
Yes, you please. You will answer for me. That'd be really helpful. Thank you. Save me the energy and time and all that. Anyway. Yeah, go for it, Joe.
Yes.
I'd have to watch my video to really learn. Yes, in armor. Epic origami giraffe.
Pre-made metal epic battle armor. Engage.
Engage.
You sounded so dramatic, man. I was just
Yeah. Don't forget the sword. I didn't make a sword.
Pre-made metal epic battle armor.
Battle armor. Yeah. What a.
And it's tinfoil.
It rolls
right?
off the tongue so nicely.
It does. Oh. Can Ryan headbang in the rain while holding a flag?
I can't do that because I'd get in trouble for assault. Because that would be me literally assaulting myself with a whip of wet hair. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
The hair flip. Yeah. Oh.
It's good stuff.
I remember. I love that video. That's such a great video.
That was one of the good ones. Ridiculous. As ridiculous as possible, really. Think about it.
Yep. That was so fun.
Shampoo.
Conditioner. Vinegar. Soap.
Salt. This shampoo again. A frying pan. Bread. A knife. Shampoo. Shampoo. Yep. There you are.
What? You thought it was over? No, it's not over.
It's not over. That's right. Now it's over. Just hit the button. Why isn't it going off? Yeah, I remember. I was actually having a moment where I was like, why isn't it turning off? So I made sure I put that in the voiceover.
Oh man, what fun. All right, well, hey, we should close this down. It's almost 10:30. All right, hey guys, thank you so much for being here. We'll be here next week. I don't think we're taking any weeks off for a while. I think the summer crazy's over, and I think I think we're kind of settled for the moment, and so we'll probably be here every week for a good long time. We should do more rando skits, only if Ryan closes the door on the pizza delivery guy without paying.
Oh no! Another flashback. We'll see what we can do.
It's so rude.
I'll get Jesse involved.
Yes.
About to drive to Carolina.
It's gonna be a little bit tough for a little while because Ryan's so isolated now. Ryan's back in Australia for.
Yeah, who knows how long?
Who knows how long?
Could be a year.
Could be.
Could be a year. Could be a year. Could be less. Could be more. I guess. Technically speaking,
Hope it's not
could be.
10.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for the hearts, guys. We love you. I know 100.
I'm gonna put some hearts. I'm gonna put a cheery thing.
No. Yeah, no. We don't want to wait 10 years.
10 years. Yeah. I don't want you to wait 10 years either.
Yeah.
We're
happy to be wherever.
I had all these grand dreams of, hanging out with you guys and like going kayaking and stuff. And
yeah, that'd be so cool.
Guess what?
We really should do that. You didn't invite us. Well, you know what? I'm glad you didn't, though.
You didn't ask me to invite you.
Oh, shoot. I didn't invite myself to invite you to invite me. Wow. It was me all along.
Yeah. No.
you know. I'm glad you didn't though, because it was like
You
we
guys had
didn't
a
have
busy summer, man.
we were busy, yeah, and that's the way it goes, you know. It's like that's the problem with it's the problem we figured out that time. Just this time, it's like maybe we can't do a back and forth summer thing where we just stay where it's warm, because every time we go from one place to another, everyone wants us to do stuff with them constantly, and so you can never really settle down and get any work done.
Right.
You
It's
know,
like,
like you can,
yeah.
but
So
it's
you're like, poof,
hard.
what do you need? Poof, what do you need?
Mhm.
Poof, what do you need?
Yeah.
You want me
In
to come
my
over?
neck
You
of the
want me to come
woods,
over?
yeah.
You want me to come over? You want me to come over? You want to, oh, you want to get ice cream? Oh, you want to
Mhm.
go mini golfing? Oh, you want to go to a restaurant? Oh, you want to have us over?
Yep.
See, that's the problem.
Mhm.
You're too nice of people. You should be jerks, and then nobody want to hang out with you, and then you won't have that problem.
I'll think about it. No, I won't.
I did find out,
Yeah, because we're only there for a short period of time, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully, next time you can stay longer, so that'd be good.
Mhm. Yeah, we like hanging out with the people, of course, yeah.
Yeah, we're actually gonna upgrade your house again while you're gone.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, maybe we'll have a working washer and dryer. That'll be
I wasn't even
exciting.
talking about that.
Or a shower that functions too, that'd be really nice.
we're gonna put
That'd be more
trim.
nice.
We're gonna put trim in your house.
Uh-huh, yeah, yeah.
It's gonna be
That's good stuff.
Brotherhood custom trim.
Whoa, dang.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. Good night, Manti. Love you. Thank you for taking the time to spend time with us. And yeah, we missed you too. We hope that you will be here again next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
shower. That would be really nice.
Absolutely.
Anyhow, yeah, we should get going.
Yep. J-Ho, I'd love to come to your neck of the woods. I've been told, and actually one of my kids is now on board with going down south and visiting with
Mm.
Jesse down south because
Oh,
Jesse
yeah.
lives 20 minutes from Carowinds,
Oh,
which is a theme park owned by the same company that owns Cedar Point.
got it.
And they've got Fury 325.
Wow, sounds.
325 foot tall.
Oh, I
Giga
thought maybe you were
coaster.
making a 325-degree turn. So almost 360, but not quite.
No, it's 325 feet tall.
Mm.
But savvy. All right, guys,
Wow, that's really high.
It is. It's awesome. Guys, have a great night. We love you guys. Oh, you've been on it. I'm jealous. I want to go on it.
Yeah.
But have a great night. Have a great week. We will see you next week on Don't Worry Wednesday. Until then, we love you. And just remember that.
We do love you.
We love you,
Yeah.
and it's going to be all right. And so don't worry. Try not to worry too much. And, if you have any topics, we'd love to handle them. Go to don'tworrywednesday.com and submit them there. Or feel free to message us on Discord. Whatever. We'll hear from you.
Yeah.
And we'll get back to you when we can. So anyway, we love you guys, and we'll see you next time on Don't Worry Wednesday. Until then, take care of yourselves. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Love you. Bye now.